Game ain't over. The sun is shining. And it ain't over.
You wanted the best, you got the best. From my home studio on Long Island, New York, welcome to Ian Scotto Rocks. I am your host, Ian Scotto. And today we're going to be talking about concert tickets, Ticketmaster. The business model for buying tickets has changed so significantly in the past few years. And if you don't keep up with how things have changed, you are going to get burned. I see it all the time, people paying insane amounts of money for concerts that they could have saved literally hundreds of dollars on. I think like most of my audience, I'm a middle-class guy. I can't afford to blow hundreds of dollars on concert tickets. Now, look, there's anomalies here where my method that I'm talking about is never going to work. You know, like the Taylor Swifts of the world. We're a rock channel, though, so we don't even cover that stuff. But yeah, Taylor Swift is an anomaly. You were paying like $1,000 or something to get the worst seat in the house. There's also other anomalies. I go to Vegas several times a year for work-related stuff for different podcasts I'm a part of in different conferences. I was there last year when there was the grand opening of the Sphere, and U2 were doing their shows. I love U2. No matter if you went to secondary markets or tried to get it on Ticketmaster, you were paying something like $700 per ticket. I would love to see the Sphere. I've never seen U2. They're on my bucket list. I'm simply not paying $700 for any concerts. It's unaffordable and it's ridiculous. There's also the people who have paid for VIP packages. That's something new in the modern age. It wasn't like that when I first started buying concert tickets. And the reason for that is that people are not buying physical product enough anymore, which I clearly am. I still am buying physical product. But the business model used to be that you went on tour and you promoted the new album and people went out and they bought your CD or cassette or vinyl, depending on what era it was. People are streaming music now. Spotify barely pays artists anything, which is a complete shame and would be a whole nother video to do. But because of that, artists need to supplement their income with things like doing VIP packages. Now, I've been fortunate enough working in the radio industry as long as I have. I've met some amazing rock stars. I've never really paid to meet anybody, and I'm not knocking anyone who does. And actually, there's a great channel who subscribes to us, and I'm subscribed to him, Zach Adkins, who talks about the VIP stuff and the positives and negatives of these packages. But I get it. I've interviewed guys like Edsel Dope, and it costs a lot to tour, and they give fans an experience that if they haven't worked a job like I have, where I've gotten the chance to engineer shows for people I'm just a huge fan of, for a lot of people, it's their only opportunity. But anyway, what we're talking about today is really just going to be arena shows in general, right? Because club shows, especially if you buy tickets at the venue and don't pay for all the Ticketmaster fees, you're paying $25 for a bar show. You're paying like $50 for a club show. We're talking reasonable amounts here. This is when arena shows go on sale. So I worked at Tower Records. If you remember Tower Records back in the day, I worked there in the early to mid 2000s. And during that time, the business model as it was for decades was like, tickets go on sale, get to the box office, which we had a Ticketmaster there, and get your tickets before this thing sells out. And tickets were relatively reasonably priced. Now they have all these platinum packages and pre-sale for Citibank members. And people get this FOMO of, I need to be at this show. I don't want it to sell out on me. And that's actually the wrong attitude to have. And that's because the truth is, shows do sell out, but they don't sell out in the same way that they used to. They run all different types of schemes, and they're doing all types of weird shit, quite honestly, for when they put these tickets on sale. Sometimes the tickets go on sale and you're like, wow, there's nothing left on the floor, and tickets that are like in the nosebleeds are ridiculously priced. And I think it's to give the illusion of, wow, this all sold out really quickly. I got to get on this. No, do not do this. Simply put, buy tickets at the last minute. That is what's going to work for you, because there's people who are reselling tickets. for one reason or another, they got burned or they have a hookup, right? There's people who are financially doing very well. They're like high rollers. Or I actually had a family friend who got amazing seats to things at Jones Beach Theater by me and Shea Stadium before it was Citifield where the Mets play. And he had the best seats in the house. Unfortunately, this is a guy who died in 9/11, but his family continued to get those benefits and those perks. And yeah, sometimes they're going to resell stuff because they can't go. And what it boils down to is at the very last moment, the day of, if their tickets aren't selling and there's hundreds of tickets on resellers, they're going to keep dropping that number because they either wind up with zero and they lost all their money, or they just didn't make a profit, or they could sell it for less than they expected to, and you get a great deal out of it. Also, Ticketmaster has done this thing, which I'll talk about for specific shows, where they save seats for like the day of show just so they could sell out the venue. So, like, simply put, what they're banking on is that you're going to buy tickets in advance at whatever price that they put it on, and they're going to make all this profit. And then the ticket prices are going to slowly go down and down and down in the weeks that follow because they know that they're counting on the people who are like, I was thinking of going. And especially the day of show, bands don't want to play to half-sold arenas, and venues don't want to have half-sold arenas. So they're practically giving away tickets sometimes. And I'm going to get into examples of all of this, recent examples that I have in the past couple of years with my own experience going to concerts. And every single one of these that I'm going to show you are tickets that I bought the day of show. In some cases, like 3 hours before showtime. Actually, in one case, I pulled over as I was driving to the show. So we'll get into that. All right, so these are not like no-name bands. These are all different bands of various levels playing stadiums, playing arenas, as you'll see. We're going to start with the most recent. The most recent of which was last week, I went to go see Creed. As you can see, these tickets were pretty good. I'm like dead center where the seating is, right behind the mixing board, so it was great sound. 3 doors down, opening along with Mammoth WVH. I knew I wanted to go to this concert many months ago. I'm a Creed fan, and the last time I got to see Creed was the previous reunion like 11 years ago, and Creed has just gotten bigger, whether it's the memes of Scott Stapp and all that stuff. Just Creed is more in demand now. So I went with my friend Steve, and funny enough, I was also going to go with his brother Mark, who is the front man for the band Electrocutioner. But as we got closer, Mark kept saying to me, dude, I don't want to pay hundreds of dollars to see Creed. And that is what the prices were on Ticketmaster and StubHub in the months leading up to the show and even the weeks leading up to the show. And I said, Mark, you are not going to be paying hundreds of dollars. I promise you. We're going to get tickets the day of the show, however many hours before, and it will be like a great deal for us. So on the day of the show, while I was working, I was at my computer and every hour or so refreshing Ticketmaster, refreshing StubHub. StubHub was actually not the place to get the best deal because at about 4:30 p.m., 3 hours before the show started on Ticketmaster, the row that I was in, which was the front row of that section behind the mixing board, they had every single ticket go on sale for the price you see here, which was $80 once you include all the fees, which I also suggest, whether it's Ticketmaster or StubHub, always put that option that you want to include fees. Otherwise, they're going to tack on ridiculous fees because that's how the resellers do things. That's how Ticketmaster does things. So at the end of the day, I got those seats for $80. Aisle seats, front row of the section, along with actually everyone else in that row because I spoke to them. And probably 30 seconds after I bought those tickets, I went to Ticketmaster just to refresh, just out of curiosity, sold out. So that's what these venues do. They hold on to tickets. And I got to see Creed at Madison Square Garden, great tickets for $80, had a blast. Had I have not waited the day of show, I probably would have been paying $200 plus for similar seats. The next show we're going to look at is Linkin Park. I decided I wanted to go to that. I didn't even have anyone to go with, but I wanted to go. I'm weird. I don't mind going to shows solo. I'll go with friends. I'll go to shows solo, whatever. I remember when those went on sale, because they went on sale like a week before. They announced this small tour in preparation for the album, pretty much last minute. And when they went on sale, I actually remember someone on Twitter or X talking about, I don't know how people afford to go to shows anymore. Like, I want to go see Linkin Park. Finally, this band I love is back on tour, but I'm not paying $325 something a ticket, understandably. And I tweeted this guy and I said, wait it out. Don't buy tickets. Because they weren't great tickets. They were like regular, I don't know, okay seats for $325 something, I remember. And I said, hey, if tickets go down, I'm going to buy them. Sure enough, a few hours before showtime, as you see there, $75 at the Barclays Center. Highly in-demand concert, completely sold out. Had I have not waited that one out, I wouldn't have gotten tickets for $75. Had a great time. I said it in a previous video. I think Emily Armstrong is doing a fantastic job, despite some of the criticism she's getting. I have the new album, which I bought a physical copy of. Love the new album. And I have no shame in saying I teared up watching some of those songs live, because my great friend Drew Dwyer, who passed away, that was his favorite band. And truly, those songs are really emotional. They reminded me of him. And I'm so glad that I made the trek. Don't be ashamed to go to shows solo. If you want to see a show, go for it, whether you have someone to go with or not. Okay, next up. This is at Citifield. Look at that view of the selfie I took of my friend Steve and I. Okay, so this is Def Leppard, Journey, Steve Miller Band. That picture is from during Journey's set. Here's how I knew I was going to get a great deal on tickets. In the months leading up to the show, I was getting email alerts from Citifield with buy 2 for 1 tickets, all these great deals. And what that says to me is these tickets are not selling. The seats are just not selling, and this is not going to be a sellout. So I said, I'm going to wait it out. My friend Steve there with me was like, I think you should just buy tickets now. That's actually a pretty good deal. I said, no. If this is the deal they're giving months in advance, it's going to be amazing the day of show, and we'll get really great seats. Sure enough, we did. Because the truth is, newsflash, guys, this is no longer 1988. Def Leppard and Journey are not really a stadium-level band anymore. They're just not. They are playing stadiums. Are they selling out every seat? No. There are people who are going to buy tickets, once again, right when they go on sale for an insane amount, and they're doing the wrong thing. They're wasting their money. Wait it out. I got tickets probably 3 hours before showtime, and you could see how great those are. We were right in front of the stage. I could see Arnell right there. I could see all the members of Def Leppard. $100 a ticket for seats like that. I was really happy. Had a great time. All right, Pantera. We'll talk about this next. I am probably one of the younger people who got to see the classic lineup of Pantera live, the original lineup. I know it's not technically the original because Phil Anselmo joined during Cowboys from Hell, but all right, Cowboys from Hell era Pantera. Yes, I got to see them on their final tour when I was just a teenager. I wasn't sure how I would feel about this newer, reimagined Pantera, but we'll get into this next. I actually saw them open for Metallica on the stadium tour, but I got there so late that I only saw like 2 songs, and I was hungry for more. And when they announced that they were playing Madison Square Garden, I said I have to be there no matter what. This ended up being another show that I went to solo, but I waited to get there, to get my seats at the very last minute, few hours before showtime. As you could see with the fees and everything, $125 on the floor. Great view of everything. It's exactly where I wanted to be for Pantera. And truthfully, the guy next to me who was a little bit drunk ended up talking with me and said that he paid $325 for the seats right next to me. So, in the words of Howie Mandel, you made a great deal.
You made an amazing deal.
All right, going back to how I said I saw Metallica a few months prior to that during their stadium tour at Giant Stadium in the summer. I really wanted to go to this, but I was not going to travel to Giant Stadium alone, truthfully. It's way out of the way. I remember literally like hours before showtime texting my friend Jay who lives in New Jersey, and it was like, are you going to go to this show or not? And he was like, I don't know, man. Maybe, maybe not. I've seen Metallica. I'm like, I want to go. I think it looks like we'll get tickets for a great deal on StubHub. Just go, man. And I remember I started driving out that way just in case he wanted to go. As I was driving towards New Jersey from Long Island, he said, all right, let's go. I pulled over. I got tickets on StubHub. And as you can see here, like unbelievable, all right? Sold out show that people were paying probably $200 for the worst seats in the house. I didn't have amazing seats or anything, but $34 each. That's less than you would pay for the average small club show, right? $34 to see Metallica. I will take that any day. And not just Metallica, but Metallica, Pantera, and Mammoth WVH. As you can see from the picture, I mean, it was packed. I have never seen more people in one location in my entire life, because not only were they playing the home of the New York Giants and Jets, a football stadium, but they were in the round. So every seat of that football stadium was sold out, and they had the snake pit and the regular general admission floor. So every single space on that football field was also taken up by fans seeing Metallica. So it was like next level seeing all of these people in one place. Now, to be fair, part of the reason I got tickets that ridiculously cheap is, needless to say, there was a ton of traffic. I bought these tickets pulled over on the way to going to New Jersey, so I missed Mammoth WVH. I missed the majority of Pantera's set. So whoever was selling tickets was like, all right, it's now or never. I got to dump these for as low of a price as possible. But hey, I got to see part of Pantera, and I got to see Metallica's entire set. $34, you really can't go wrong with that. And then here's the last one I'll show you. This is like the most I've ever paid for a concert, but holy shit, look how close I am. This is with me and my friend Steve, the same person that I saw Def Leppard with. And they played, this was a tour in 2019. They played and I think, yeah, if you look at the date there, I think it's 2019. You'll see it on screen. They played several shows at Mass Mutual Center in Massachusetts. So I chose a Thursday show, which was during the week, which was less than the weekend shows would be. Here's the weird thing that happened, though. Whatever seats it says are on that ticket is not where I was actually seated, because I think they moved people up. They may have just moved everyone forward a little bit because they probably didn't sell out every single seat in the house. I remember my seats on the Legend were near where the soundboard was, which would have been awesome. I wanted to be on the floor for Aerosmith. But as I remember we were walking, the usher was like, nope, keep going, keep going, keep going. Next thing I know, we're right by the stage. I mean, I'm talking, I was feet away from Steven Tyler and Joe Perry. No joke. So, I mean, just look at that picture. It says it all. I had a blast. We had the time of our life. It was well worth the $176 per seat. I'm pretty sure if I got those seats for like a regular tour and it was by me at Madison Square Garden, I literally think you'd be paying like $1,000 or something to be that close to Aerosmith. But it's funny I bring up Aerosmith because that's actually also not that specific show, but Aerosmith is the one time I got burned doing this method, but it was also my own fault. So as you know, Aerosmith was doing their final tour, which they canceled the remaining dates for. What turned out to be the final date and the final Aerosmith show ever as of now was at UBS Arena here on Long Island. I wanted to go to that show, preferably with my friend Steve. He could not make it. So I remember in the days leading up, I saw like one seat on, or one, I wanted to be on the floor no matter what. I saw one floor ticket for like $200 the day before. And I was like, it's a little steep. I don't want to be paying that. And I should have done it had I have known it'd be the final Aerosmith show, because the day of show, floor seats went way above that. I didn't want to pay that. And there was some stuff for like maybe $150 to $200, but there were seats further back. I didn't want to be in seats for Aerosmith because truthfully, it's an older crowd. Aerosmith's an older band. And this is one of the problems with US shows especially, but especially for older bands. People just kind of sit back. I want to be up and getting into it. And I say this is a problem for America because it's the stereotype of like the lazy fat American. You go on YouTube, you look up some of these bands like Guns N' Roses and AC/DC when they play Mexico, when they play South America, everybody is into it. Everyone is chanting. Everyone is out of their seat. I wish US shows were more like that. It makes me want to take a trip to Mexico and see one of these bands when they play there, because Those people get live more than we do in the US, so shame on us. So long story short, this whole idea of I want to go see some of these concerts, but I don't have hundreds of dollars to shell out for one ticket. You do not have to do that. There's some venues that are harder than others, like Jones Beach by me. For whatever reason, tickets don't seem to drop there. Madison Square Garden by me, as I've pointed out, UBS Arena, Barclays Center, all of which I've mentioned. If you look on StubHub and Ticketmaster before showtime, day of show, they're going to drop. Yes, there are rare exceptions, but that's the exception, not the rule. Wait it out. Don't have FOMO. Don't have this thing of, I got to get tickets right now, because you will get burned. And I showed you some pretty high-level acts. Metallica for $34. Great seats? No. But $34 to see one of the biggest bands of all time. So I think I've proved my point here between Aerosmith, Linkin Park, Pantera, Def Leppard. Like, by and large, if you want to go to a rock show, you can get in for an affordable price, unless you want to do these VIP packages and everything else. And you know what? If you're someone who's like, I don't have a disposable income at all, I don't have the money to do it, there are free shows that you can go to that I've had a blast at. And yes, I mean absolutely free. A lot of the 80s bands I love that we cover on this channel, they play the casino circuit. The closest one by me that they always seem to play, whether it's bands I've seen like Vixen or Winger or Firehouse, is Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. And all of those shows, the smaller shows, for example, they have an arena there, but they have a smaller venue inside the casino called the Wolf Den. All of those shows are completely free. And let's be honest, they do it because they want you coming to the casino, hopefully buying some drinks, hopefully having some great food there. I can tell you, Mohegan by me has one of the best sushi places, and it's going to cost you a little bit. So they're hoping you go in there, you spend some money gambling, you spend some money eating, but you don't have to do that. You could go see a lot of these bands for free. And if you do see them for free, you know what? Support the scene, buy a t-shirt from them, because it costs a lot for these bands to tour. And I think live music needs to stay alive. It's very important in this world of VR and AI and all this other bullshit. And yeah, I'm calling it bullshit, even though it's a lot of what I cover in my everyday jobs for other things that I do. There's nothing like the real life live experience of seeing a show, whether it's with strangers or with friends, being in the moment, hopefully putting your fucking phone away for a few minutes and just enjoying, being mindful, and having the time of your life. So look, there's shows coming up next summer that I'm waiting it out for that are really in demand, like the Oasis tour. I'm dying to go to that. I'm not shelling out like $200, $300 for the worst seat in the house. I'm going to wait it out, and we're going to see how it goes. And I suggest you guys do the same. Don't make the excuse that I can't go to shows because I don't have the money to. Hey, while you're here, check out the merch store. Link is in the description. This is the exclusive Ian Scotto Rocks mug. We've also got the t-shirt. My logo is based off the Motley Records logo that you may have seen in the late 90s and done by the great Aaron Lauder. I put a lot of work into this merchandise, so I hope you pick something up. You support the channel. We're just growing, but we're looking to make this thing a movement, not just a channel. And while you're here, give us a like, subscribe, and check out the video right here on Mark St. John, the forgotten member of KISS.